Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Meadsyreplays. Welcome back to channel. Today we're going to be looking at the Panther M10. It's a tank that hasn't really ever appeared on my channel. I mean, it might have way back a few years ago, but it's been buffed in update 6.2. It had a penetration buff, not a lot. I think it was like 10mm extra. So nothing major, but the 10mm does help. I mean, any buff to this tank helps. It's an okay tank. It's always been kind of, it's okay, nothing special. You know, I've owned it since, I think this was one of my first ever premium tanks to own, and it was back then you play it to earn credits, but there's just so many other tier 7 tanks that you would play over this. I mean, it's not the greatest tank, it's an average tank, but you can still do really well. The DPM is great. I mean, a 4-second reload with calibrated shells. I think with the rammer it's like 3.9 seconds, so it's pointless running the rammer when you can run calibrated shells and just get that extra pen. But played correctly, this tank can do really well. So this battle on New Bay, we decided to come back because my team was getting, one of my teammates was getting wrecked, and he dies, and it now leaves me and this CDC. Now the CDC is a great tank, but my DPM and his hit points is, I'm going to win this battle all day long. So we have a KV4 on my team as well. So I decided to come around from a different direction so that if they are looking at my KV4, I can get shots on them. So there is the ISU 122S and the KV13. So we can clear the KV13, one more shot and he is gone, and we take him out for our second kill, and it is now 4 against 4. So our KV4 is still there, taking the attention of the ISU 122S, which is great. It's now a 3-on-4, and I love this. The KV4 pushes the ISU into me, and I get the kill. So thank you very much, KV4. So it's just 3 tanks left on each team. I'm on 3 kills, but the enemy tanks, they have 2 one-shots. They're all heavily armoured, so I'm going to load the APCR. We're going to come around this corner. We're going to get 1 shot on the AT-15. We're going to reload, and we're going to get 1 shot on the Louver, and it now just leaves the EXP. So we're not going to have to use APCR because we've got it side, and we can now just get some free damage because he's just looking at the KV4. So we're going to wait for the KV4 to shoot, and then we're just going to get our 6th kill. So nice easy battle. I mean, nothing special. 2,600 damage. We get ourselves 6 kills, and we do get the ace, get the Top Gun, we get the Paul's medal, and we get the Nichols medal as well for destroying 4 enemy tanks at tier higher. So 1,223 base XP, which isn't bad actually. That's quite nice XP for a tier 7 for that low damage. So we've got 2 more battles, and it is the Bear Nose, my good friend, the Bear Nose. Now, this tank is in the tech tree. You can buy it in the tech tree. It is in the German tech tree section in the store. And I mean, it's 4,750 gold. So it's actually, compared to the tanks that have come in the store, 4,750 gold is nothing. It's not much. And if you don't own too many premium tanks and you've got just under 5k gold, then sure, why not? I would get it. But there's so many other tanks that I would choose over this. And as I've said, I'm not saying that the tank's a bad tank. It's just, I was going to say power creep, but it's never really been the greatest premium tank. I mean, in tier 7 mediums, what are you going to play? I've got pretty much all of the tier 7 premium tanks you can get. So what would I do? Would I play this, or would I play a Dracula? Would I play this, or would I play Type 62? This wouldn't come close to any of those. And even the other tank in tier 7, the medium, which I will do another video on because that's also had a little buff, is the T23E3. I would pick the T23E3 over this all day long. It's a bit slower. I think the T23E3 is a bit slower, but the DPM is more. I think it has 3.7 or 3.8 seconds reload with calibrated shells. So there is just so many other tanks that you would play over this. So if you own at least one of those tanks, one of those medium tanks or the light tanks, then I probably wouldn't get this, because it's just, you know, it's not as good. Half it makes credits. It does make credits, and the buff with the buff it's had against tier 8s, that you're always going to struggle to pen tier 8 heavies. I mean, IS3s, IS5s, you're always going to struggle to pen them. Even after the buff, you are struggling to penetrate those tanks. But I don't mind that. I don't mind that. Even I found myself with this tank using APCR, and I could only penetrate an IS3 when it was angled. So even with the buff, calibrated shells, and the APCR, you're still going to struggle to pen these big armor tanks like KV5s, KV4s. But I don't mind that with a medium tank, because I think that's how it should be. You shouldn't really, for me personally, you shouldn't be able to pen a heavy frontally with AP in a medium tank, especially a tier 7 medium tank, because it's not used for that. You're supposed to get around. You're a medium tank. You're supposed to use your mobility, so you're not supposed to be sat in front of heavy tanks. So I don't mind the penetration not being able to pen tier 8 heavies. So back to the battle, Castilla. We're at bare nose, and he's going to play this battle pretty much at range. He's up on this castle here. That was probably the worst shot I've ever seen. The only place he can bounce on that T43, and he still manages to hit that place. But so he's going to play this from here. And he's not really going to move all battle. He doesn't need to. He's got the Tiger P and the Tiger 2 in front of him by Cap B, and I absolutely love what he does. Just something so little, but it's so effective. I mean, he knows that the Tiger P and the Tiger 2 is looking at him, so he's just going to stay here. You know, like, carry on looking at me, because there is 4 tanks left alive on the enemy team. I've just taken 2 tanks out without even doing anything, you know. You're not going to shoot me because I'm not going to move. And I've just taken 2 heavies out of the game, a Tiger 2 and a Tiger P. 2 great tanks. So he waited until they was looking somewhere else, and then he can go forward and start getting the damage. So his team have got 2 cap points. Now, the enemy team are now bleeding hit points. The Tiger P gave up looking, so he can now move along and he can take the Tiger P out for his 2nd kill. And it just now leaves 2 tanks, the T43 and the Tiger 1. So they are just about almost winning, or just about to win on supremacy points. So he's going to try and just pump out a little bit more damage on this T43, and he's still got enough hit points. He's saved his hit points, so he can now take a couple of shots. So T43 is now a 1 shot. He's going to take him out for his 3rd kill, and his team Bulldog is going to take out the Tiger 1. So very good battle. He gets the ace, 3,400 damage, 76,000 credits, so not bad. And that was against tier 8, and he played that quite effectively, just sitting at the castle, pumping out that damage with the great DPM this tank has got. So moving on to the last battle, again it is the bare nose, and this time he's going to play a little bit more up front and with a little bit more action. Again, it is tier 8. So the enemy have got 2 medium tanks, 2 light tanks, 1 medium tank. His team has 2 medium tanks and 2 light tanks. So he is going to ignore the cap. It is supremacy. His team have caught base C. His teammate is capping base A, so he's just totally going to ignore the cap points, and he is going to flank around to see if he can open up the enemy around the C area on top of the bridge, the building thing, and straight away they spot a Bulldog. Now, thinking, he's AFK, but just watch, he is moving, he's not actually AFK. Now, I probably wouldn't have done that in a tier 8 game, right at the start within a minute. I probably wouldn't have rammed, because you've now just lost 300 hit points. That's a shot. That is a heavy shot, especially from the Tiger 2. It can roll about 300. So that 300 hit points could prove to be vital later on in the battle. So I definitely wouldn't recommend ramming a tank in a medium tank at the very start of the battle. So now he's going to push forward, and he now has the Tiger 2, who somehow misses. Again, I probably wouldn't do what he's doing here. He's going to stay and he's going to hit point trade with a heavy, a tier 8 heavy being that. I mean, he has the DPM. He's team of 3 tanks down to 1. So I would have probably moved along. But he's not. He's going to stay and he's going to fight. And to be honest, the hit point trade actually in the end works out well for him, because this Tiger 2 just has absolute no clue. He's going to bring him down to 52 HP, then he is going to take him out. So a little bit of free damage there, because that Tiger 2 just was really not a great player. So there's just 3 tanks left alive. It's a 4 versus 3. There's a full hit point KV4. There's an IS-2SH. And there is a SP1C. So these 2 heavy tanks are dealing with the light tank on his team, which is perfect for him, because that means he can deal some damage without even them looking at him or even wanting to know him. So now it is him and this AMX light tank that is circling this KV4, and there's not really much you can do in a KV4 with 2 medium tanks circling you. Well, there is. You could just back up to this corner, but the KV4 is, again, it doesn't really use his brain and decides to just sit in the open. So the Bear Nose can take him out for his second kill, and it now just leaves the SP1C. And again, the enemy team are not winning on cap points, but they've got 3 cap points. So they are going to start winning very soon. Now, it is an SP1C, which is a quick tank. And again, I love what the Bear Nose does here. So he's going to start capping B. His 2 remaining teammates are going to come and help. They are both a one-shot, and all 3 of these does fantastic. And I love what he does here. He ignores the cap. They are sitting on the cap, and he just, you know what, you guys take the cap. I'm going to go and get a different cap. And on his way to B, this is where he spots the SP1C. So now he's just going to ignore base B, and he's going to go and protect base D, and he's going to get some more damage. And as you know, the SP1C is known for having its amazing armor, so good that the Bear Nose needs to use APCR. So I didn't think he means to use APCR there, but he manages to take him out anyway. So he ends on 3 kills, 3,421 damage. So the Panther M10, is it worth it? I mean, it's an okay tank. It's an okay tank, quite cheap. But if you've got other tier 7 medium tanks that are premiums, then it's probably not worth it. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I'm Meadsy69, and I will catch you soon. Bye-bye.